after the rummage sale, we can't find the dong. Yeah, so all of a sudden we realized that, and we're racing around looking for it. But so if you're sitting on something uncomfortable,
that was a seventh chakra sound.
yeah, that was pretty bad though. So welcome everyone as you're taking your seat, and happy Mother's Day. I hope you receive a little heart to honor your mother, and man and women pick a little heart because we all have mothers. And I'm going to just briefly share with you the total of our parking lot sale. Dun, 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 dun. If we had drums, dun, 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 dun. $9,273. Most of that is going to go for medical bills. We're all needing a little bit of chiropractic and massages this week. So anyway, we had a blast. And for those of you that donated items and came and helped us sort and price, and those of you that stayed during the whole sale and helped be cashiers and just the runners, because there's a lot going on. The community, I was so proud of who we were. It brought tears to my eyes. We were warm, welcoming, friendly, even if they were cranky. And it was just a delight. My heart was just wide open to all of us for that. Because our goal was only 5,000. And so we almost doubled it. Yeah, it really is an exciting moment when we come together and that happens. So I'm just privileged to be the one to share that good news with you. And hi.
Well, I just wanted to add that some of the comments of people coming in, people from the community that don't necessarily know who we are, was so warm and gracious, saying, wow, what a wonderful place, and you guys have the best sale ever, And so people, they have it on their calendars to look for the sale that we have. So it's another wonderful way of opening up to the community and representing who we are. So, and then I just wanted to also highlight the men that all showed up yesterday at 1 with trailers, and we did our loads to Goodwill, and we did our loads to people who bought stuff that needed help getting it delivered. So a great big thank you for that as well. So thank you. Oh.
One man came to the cashiers and had bought some shorts, and he had put his hand in the pocket prior, and there was a lot of bills, and he hadn't pulled them or anything. He just said, "Oh, here, this was in the pocket." Wow. Yeah, that's an amazing story. I hadn't heard that one. So many little stories like that. And today we have the delight of Adrian and Judy to do our music in honor of our mothers. So enjoy their sweet voices. Thank you, everyone.
Kind friends all gather
Thank you, Shirley and Adrian. It's beautiful. Judy. Thank you. You know, it was a long week, but anyway, we're fully present now. So we're going to invite the children up as we sing them out to church, and while we do that, if you want to turn and wave to the camera and let people online know that you're fully present in here, and we know that they're fully present in their own space.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. I hold you are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Very sweet. So I'm Charlie Boring, practitioner for today, and Dr. Mary is here with me in service, and we're available for prayer support afterwards. So is there anybody new today that would like a welcome packet? Alrighty, and if you are new and didn't raise your hand, we have some packets in the back, and if you'd like a tour or to meet some of us afterwards, we're available for that. So also, I just want to thank those in service today. We have Linda on the board desk, and Linda in the sound booth, Doug and Ronnie at the ushers and greeters. And so there's so many that come together, to help bring in a service on Sunday. So we give thanks to all of them. And then we also, today, I just want to remind you, our social hall's now back open. So, Bill and Shirley have some prepared food and beverages for you. So if you want to go there after service and mingle, that's totally appropriate. And then in the future for Sundays, if you want to bring your own food or desserts that you think others would like to share, bring it in, because it's a great way of breaking bread together. So it's a great opportunity. Well, I have just a few announcements that I'm going to go through. And to start with, I'm going to have Dr. Mary come up and go over a couple things.
Good morning. This is a very special time in Shasta County. This month, on the 17th, they're going to do a homeless count. So they send people out throughout the area and find the homeless and, try to get them in for services and different things. But what they're doing is at the library, they're having all kinds of services for them. They'll get a haircut, they'll get information on this or that, and we're bringing shoes and socks. Now, you have not seen a smile on your face until a person who's wearing house slippers gets an actual pair of shoes and socks. So I'm inviting 8 people to help in 2-hour increments that day. My truck is filled with shoes, and this morning there's at least 100 pair of socks that were here in the bin. So we're doing really good. So it's on Tuesday the 17th, and there's a sign up in the foyer, because 2 people with 2 tables, men and women, that should be enough. And I'll be there at the beginning and the end. And sure invite you to sign up if you would like to help do that. It's an amazing thing. Now, we have all these shoes, but they need to be sorted into sizes. And I usually take a file folder label and put it on the shoes, what size, so they can easily find their size. Our calendar is so full. We're going to have to sort the shoes this Friday. this Friday, and I'm thinking 9 to 12, if you have any time on Friday, because my garage has another 100 pair of shoes as well as my truck. So if we can do this, it would be great, because that makes it go smooth. And then sometimes we end up with one shoe, not a pair. So then we have to toss those out. So sorting them is a lot of fun. So Friday, 9 to noon. And then please sign up if you can to help on the homeless count day. And after class today, if you're interested, I'll be in the meeting room and doing about an hour essence class. What is the essence of this philosophy? What do we believe? Where did it come from? And so I've got a little brochure for you with pictures of who's this guy, Earnest Holmes? What is this science of mind? So if you have time, get some food in the social hall, come into the office meeting room, and we'll have a nice chat about what is the essence of this philosophy. Thank you.
Well, at least she didn't say Shirley. Anyway. So we're going to do just some brief focus announcements. In addition, we have the Tao of Watercolor, creating luminous watercolor landscapes with Sherry on, starting May 9th, 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon. And then we have the men's group with Roy tomorrow night. Sacred Sisters, also tomorrow night with Reverend Sue. And you can read more about this in your programs that you received when you came in. And just so a reminder, we have a wonderful website that has all the information as well. And you can also sign up for classes on the website. Starting May 11th, this is exciting, we have the Qigong and Tai Chi going to be here at the center starting from 10 to 11:30. And it's going to be with Aaron Hemmon, who's a relatively new member, and he's a deeply practiced and experienced practitioner of both those spiritual practices. And I've actually had some work done on myself by Aaron. He's a great healer, he's also experienced, he has a doctor in acupuncture and Chinese medicine, and so has a really deep background, and he brings all that into his spiritual practices. So I invite you to take a look at that starting Wednesdays, again, May 11th, 10 to 11:30. And then we have another Tao of Watercolor with Sherry on Wednesdays starting May 11th, and that's the theme is going to be landscape painting. Then we have our music jam again, which is going to be this coming Friday, 7 to 8:30 in the sanctuary, and each time we have it, we have a bigger crowd. So it's really becoming popular, and it's very inviting, and you can bring any instrument, you can bring your voice, or if you just want to come and listen and enjoy the beat, and the sound that comes up. We don't set an agenda, we just allow it to happen. And then, and Sue may mention this as well, but we have Reverend Melissa Filippi and Reverend Egloff, I don't know if I pronounced that right. But anyway, they've been here a few times and have done workshops and talked on Sundays. And they're going to be here next Sunday providing the music and the talk at the service. So take a look at your program. If you've experienced them before, they're a wonderful couple together and give a great message. And I did mention the social hall. So we're going to do things a little bit different. Lori's going to come up and do our reading. And then follow that, we'll invite the bell 3 times. And then Shirley's going to do our Mother's Day prayer. Lori?
In honor of Mother's Day. Dear son, I enjoyed seeing you so much recently. It made me realize how much I miss you. But I don't get lonely because I have some men friends who keep me company. I wake up with Charlie horse, exercise with willpower, spend my days with arthritis, and go to bed with Ben Gay. Things are not the same. Everything is farther away now than it used to be. It's twice as far to the corner, and they've added a hill, I noticed. I've given up running for the bus because it now drives much faster than it used to. It seems, too, that they are making stairs steeper than in the old days. And have you noticed the smaller print they use in the newspapers now? There's no sense in asking anyone to read it aloud. Everyone speaks in such low voices I can hardly hear them anyway. Even people are changing. They're so much younger than they used to be when I was their age. On the other hand, people my age are so much older than I am. I ran into an old friend the other day, and she had aged so much she didn't even recognize me. I'm writing this letter as I sat in front of my dressing table, and I just glanced at my reflection. And confound it, they don't even make mirrors like they used to. Love, Mom. And this one, to remember the depth of Divine Mother in us all. God is love. We cannot see love, nor grasp any comprehension of what love is, except as love is clothed with a form. All the love in the universe is God. The love between husband and wife, between parents and children, is just the least little bit of God, as pushed forth through the visible form into manifestation. A mother's love, so infinitely tender, so unfailing, is God's love, only manifested in greater degree by the mother. Emily Cady, Lessons in Truth, page 18.
Anymore? Okay. Let's take time this morning to acknowledge the living presence of the Mother, Father, God within. We join together in oneness with the divine and with each other, aware of the strong connection we have with our higher power. This day has been set aside to acknowledge motherhood. It is a time to appreciate all that a mother gives of herself in caring for and guiding her children. A time for recognition and gratitude. But looking further, now we focus our awareness on the Divine Mother, deep within, our source for the love, wisdom, and compassion to be found in our awakened heart. As we meditate, we open our minds and hearts to receive the guidance and wisdom we need to meet the challenges we sometimes face in life. And so we take this opportunity today to say thank you for all our many blessings, and we release this word to the law in joy and gratitude. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Judy. Oh, good morning. I'll try to control my hysteria, but that bell was one of the funniest things. How sacred laughter is. So we'll find that. Now we realize how meaningful certain objects are in life. So I'm talking today, it's kind of an odd title for Mother's Day, the fear factor. But as I looked at this throughout the week, I thought, it's actually perfect, because I think all of our mothers instilled a little bit of fear factor in us, right? In our upbringing. It was just part of being a mother. Be careful, don't do that. That's hot. All of this, and both parents, definitely. But the mother, as the caretaker of the infant, held us in that state. And I believe in that it was the opportunity to lead us to be fearless. So I'm going to talk more about fearlessness as I move through this, knowing that for the woman, giving birth, losing a child, longing for a child, caring for a child is one of the most challenging and most loving opportunities that the divine has gifted the feminine body with. So knowing all of that, even those that longed for a child or say, I never wanted one, they love their pets. They dress them up. They love them. It is that nurturing nature of the compassionate, empathic heart of the mother. But we want to look, first kind of just dance around the idea of fear a little bit and see where it speaks to you, because it's important to know, is fear deterring you from your greater good? Because we have the power to change the stories that we tell ourselves, and we can allow a deeper faith to lead us instead of following fear. Now, Brene Brown says something very beautiful here. She says, faith is a place of mystery where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. Most definitely, fear of uncertainty has a lot of tentacles to it that just kind of reach out to us in so many different ways. Now, Eleanor Roosevelt says, she was known to say, I believe that anyone can conquer fear by doing the things he fears to do. Yes. It takes courage. It really takes courage to be who we truly are, to be who we really are, to face fear and to question it, to befriend fear, to sit with it patiently with a very compassionate heart. So the heart of this message today, the takeaway for you, is to have faith and do what you need to do, and do what you need to do to be who you are. It takes the courage and even an attempt to stand in your power and accomplish things, anything of real importance. The practice here is moving through fear to fearlessness. Now, Nietzsche says, he describes this threefold process in the maturing of your consciousness. And I like this. I hadn't come upon this before. He said, in the first stage, we are like a camel bending down to have hoisted upon us the load of social conditioning, habits, and convention. That's the first stage. In the second stage, we're like a lion roaring against the thou shalts of society. Only after we complete the work of the lion do we become the child, which is to say, have a fully human being capable of spontaneously, intuitively, and competently responding to the world. The courage of the lion is the courage to find your own path in life. You're asked to examine the conventions, the ideals, and programs of society, your own habits, your routines that you have unconsciously accumulated. Then ask yourself, what do I accept now? And what do I reject? That's your choice. It's powerful. Now, recently we had a Women's Day here, and I had the women close their eyes and just vision a candle lit within them. And to a few, very boldly, when I was talking about it later, they shared, my candle, I kept trying to keep it lit, but it kept fizzling out. And I totally got that. We give of ourselves so often, so much, that the light within us, the will within us feels so depleted because we haven't paid attention to the urgings of self-care, to sit back, to relax, to nurture, to refill our spiritual capacity to its fullest. And so this flickering of the light, I totally could get that. Our energy level sees things in that way. And so we can realize that it can even be blown out by the slightest wind of frustration or disappointment, by fear even of the what ifs. But here's the example that we can turn to, is to put a new face on that and become a bonfire and dare the world to put you out. Saying such things as, now here's how subtle fear can interfere with your power. So think about this. When you've heard yourself say, I'm afraid of, I'm afraid I will, I'm afraid to, I'm worried that I will, it makes me anxious that. Anxiety is another mask of fear. So anywhere from fear of failures to worries about any random uncertainty, that's all the things that we face. It will weaken your faith and your personal power if it's not attended to. So remember, as we explore emotions, that's what we're doing this month, throughout the month. We're trying to learn more about who we are, and there's an inner guide within each and every one of us, a guide of great wisdom and power. So when we sit in our spiritual practices that we turn to again and again, we have to inquire and explore what is going on in me. I see this in them, but what's going on in me? It's the only power I have to make a change. And especially when we're trying to fill up that hole of, I'm not enough, I haven't done enough. We start grasping to make sense of what's wrong. And so fear is something that's common to all of us. It's not a right or a wrong. Tagore was known to say, let me not pray to be sheltered from dangers, but to be fearless in facing them. Let me not beg for the stilling of my pain, but the heart to conquer it. I think that's very powerful. To me, it sounds like the St. Francis prayer has its roots here. Let me not pray to be sheltered from danger, but be fearless in facing them. Let me not beg for the stilling of my pain, but the heart to conquer it. It shifts it around, it turns it around. So we accept the fight, flight, freeze concept. That's part of our humanness. That's our response to real danger. But it's those other nagging ones that I pointed to that can aggravate our experience, and we can feel this sense of fear of failure, fear of death, being in a crowd, being on a bridge. That's my big one, I've never fallen off a bridge, but I don't know why, it just terrifies me. Tidal waves terrify me. I've never been in one. I could exaggerate when I was in high school at Newport Beach that I was in tidal waves when I misjudged and got the undertow and was taken down under. A tidal wave got me and I couldn't get back up. It's those moments that instill fear in you, because you had a breathtaking moment. Nature was consuming me in those brief episodes. So I established from that, plus I totally believed in the big giant earthquake that was coming and the tidal wave was going to take California off the coast. To be honest with you, that's why I moved to Redding. People say, how'd you get here? And I thought, you don't really want to know. And they said, we do. And I said, well, a psychic told me there was going to be a big tidal wave. And I think it's safe here, perhaps. So that's how driven I was by this crazy fear. I still have dreams of the tidal waves. They come and people say, just turn towards it. Just turn. Yeah, start to swim. But it's, and I try that, and then it's like I don't know what else happens because I wake up in a sweat because it's scary. Huh? A little bit more dream work. Thank you, Reverend Kat, for sure. So, but I want to look at all of this because, so I have mine, and some of them seem a little ridiculous, but I want to be fearless in life. I want to be in that way that I'm not pushing away or ignoring any kind of fear. I'm not going to deny it because that's not going to help trying to chase fear off. Fear will still be there, whatever the name of it is for you. So again, the lesson of truth, here it is. I'm even saying it. Turn it, face your fears. Acknowledge the fear. Look deeply at the source of it. Now, you know what's coming here because I speak of this week after week. We sit with what is and take an honest look. We inquire about what and why are we stewing about something. Because, breaking news, we don't have control over anything, no matter how much we try to have control. We can get pretty snippy trying to be in control, but then you see, like the car fire, whoosh, impermanence. And people faced that fear. And they picked up the pieces and they became powerful warriors of survivors from that. So we try to hold on tightly, but we can't. We can't. The only power we really have is to ease fear, to sit and practice really living fully in the present moment. It will transform the fear. And you can know that you are not bypassing or denying anything, but being bold by looking within, by feeling the quickening of the heart, the change of your respirations, the sweaty palms, and just say, I am in this now, and what is the truth of me? And more will be revealed by the faith and knowing that love is greater, that there is a power greater than all of this that will lift you and guide you to where you need to be. That is called the state of calm. It is beckoning you to be still and to know that nothing is good, nothing is bad. Avoid naming it so. So as I had referenced in the newsletter, that what we're looking at is one of the books from Thich Nhat Hanh about fear. And I love his message here, if I can find it. I was all set over there, and then I'm going to blame it on Charlie just because he was over there making me laugh. And then I'll blame it on Mary because then she really got me laughing. But he speaks of the birth. Doggone it, I did this last week too. You'd think I would. Fear factor. Okay, here it is. He calls this particular chapter a time before. Very clever. Many of us, this is Thich Nhat Hanh, many of us don't remember this, but a long time ago, we lived inside our mother's womb. We were tiny, living human beings. There were two hearts inside your mother's body, her own heart and your heart. During this time, your mother did everything for you. She breathed for you, ate for you, drank for you. You were linked to her through your umbilical cord. Oxygen and food came to you through the umbilical cord, and you were safe. You were content inside the mother. You were never too hot or too cold. You were very comfortable. You rested on a soft cushion made of water. In China and Vietnam, we call the womb the palace of the child. you spent about 9 months in this palace. The 9 months you spent in the womb were some of the most pleasant times of your life. Then the day of your birth arrived. Everything felt different around you, and you were thrust into a new environment. You felt cold and hunger for the first time. Sounds were loud. Lights were too bright. For the first time, you felt afraid. That is original fear. Interesting. I love Thich Nhat Hanh, his delicate way of leading our hearts to see something very beautiful and to soften any fear around it. Just briefly more, inside the palace of the child, you didn't need to use your own lungs, but at the moment of birth, someone cut that umbilical cord and you were no longer physically joined to the mother. Your mother could no longer breathe for you. You had to learn how to breathe on your own for the very first time, and if you couldn't breathe on your own, you would die. Birth was an extremely precarious time. You were pushed out of the palace and you encountered suffering. You tried to inhale, but it was difficult. There was liquid in your lungs. To breathe in you, you had to push hard. You had to push that liquid out. We were born, and with that birth, our fear was born along with the desire to survive. That is the original desire. It's a powerful book. I don't think we have it in our bookstore at this time, but any book that Thich Nhat Hanh presents to us is one that will enlighten our way in a very beautiful passage of understanding, because he's so calm in his delivery that you do sit, and as you read, you're also opening and evolving. So when it's time to sit with your various experiences of fear and just invite them in without any judgment, be gentle with yourself. Avoiding fear, remember, it isn't helping, but resisting it doesn't help. Fearing fear is even a greater issue. So just calm down. The anxiety and the worry that is within you will dissipate. It will lift off of you as you turn to your breathing. Going back to the birth. So now we don't have fluid in our lungs, but we have the ideas of something inevitable impressing upon us that makes us feel like we can't breathe, but we can, as we allow the breath of life to breathe us, to calm us. But we need to do this work to find the roots of our suffering. Only then can you let go, when you know your roots of suffering. So you want to know if this is a new fear when you're sitting with yourself, or if it's something that has history in you. And here comes the fearless part, because you want to accept the good that you do have, what you do really treasure, accepting that, remembering that. Then you remember joy. Joy will fill you up, and you'll be able to see through that filter of joy. Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us that looking deeply into your fear, get a real clear vision of it, then start living a life that is worthwhile and not strung out in the worry or the anxiety. He presents this other example, a story of the Buddha. And his story goes like this. Buddha, he was a human being, and he knew fear. Now, don't sometimes we think, nobody else feels the way I do. We all feel the same thing. I was telling somebody that earlier this week when they were suffering about something. We're all feeling it. Oh? We're working it. It's a tool for us to work with it. So the Buddha, he knew fear, but because he spent each day practicing mindfulness and looking closely at his fear when confronted with unknown, he was able to face it calmly and peacefully. There's a story about a time when the Buddha was out walking. Angulimala, a notorious serial killer, came upon him. Angulimala shouted for the Buddha to stop, but the Buddha kept walking slowly and calmly. Angulimala caught up with him and demanded to know why he hadn't stopped, and the Buddha replied, Angulimala, I stopped a long time ago. It is you who have not stopped. One of those Zen stories there. He went on to explain, I stopped committing acts that caused suffering to other living beings. All living beings want to live. All fear death. We must nurture a heart of compassion and protect the lives of all beings. Well, startled, Angulimala asked to know more. By the end of the conversation, he vowed never again to commit a violent act and decided right then and there to become a monk. It's a good story. It's a really good story to remember. So it started, and I can see that there's something about walking in the calm and just being that presence out there for one another. If someone comes to you with an anxious story, the greatest loving thing you can do is sit quietly down and just calmly listen. Your calm moves into their being, and they can hear themselves, and they can hear their own heart. So it starts with that breath and awareness, and then we meet what comes our way. So fearlessness, imagine the state now of pure joy, being without any fear. The freedom, feel that. Feel that in the heart space. Another person I was sharing with this earlier this week would share the most beautiful vision of herself, exactly what she wanted. And then when I interjected the problem, right away she felt, whoop, it didn't stay open. It's what we do to try to self-protect, but it's when we open to that little bit of contracted heart space, that heart chakra, then we start to see with clear vision. So we begin right now to practice the states of calm reassurance. So when bigger challenges come, we have built our spiritual muscle of resiliency and compassion. We mindfully transform our suffering. You know what to do. You know what to do. The one thing about this center, which I am so proud of, is we know what to do. We know the tools. We are the people that take these tools to their highest good, and we try to work with that out in society. We mindfully transform our suffering so that we can be available to help transform other suffering. We know what to do. So as our attention moves away from trying to fix things, figure out everything, we move towards being who we are. We start to live our life. It's a beautiful opportunity to sit down with somebody. If something, the practitioners, Shirley and Charlie, Mary will be in the Essence class, but if something's come up for you and you want just a little bit of support in your heart space, the willing ear of the trained practitioner will hold that consciousness for you. And they'll know the truth. They'll reflect back the truth. And by you putting a word to your fear, by naming it, like my tidal wave now seems really silly. Now it's a little ripple at Whiskeytown, a little wave. Not so big, not so scary. I can ride that. I can ride the waves the divine puts before me. I can do that. I'll have an inner tube on, but I can do it. So it's these ways of looking as I just put down the papers and put down the words going through all of us now as we try to piece together what is fearlessness. Go ahead, Judy, you want to come on up? It's a state of being. It's a state of love. It's a state of who we are as human beings to help each other. We want to touch the original fear. We want to touch that. We want to be like the helpless child in certain moments as we try to understand. We can even talk to our own inner child and say, where did this ever start? What happened? When we know that, we know a truth. And from that truth, we begin to build our skills. So Let's just allow, as Judy plays the keys, to practice a brief meditation, to be in the breath of calm. How are you breathing now? How have you postured your body as you receive the message today? Remember, it begins. The whole body, mind, spirit is a oneness. If we stay cramped inside the body, we left out the biggest piece of letting go. So we attend to the body and we relax our shoulders. We look deeply. Awareness washes through with just a quick glance through. You're aware. I am filled with a light. The candle flame of my being is on fire within me as I am willing to see and sit in a truth of understanding. There is a good unfolding here. There is a good and a calm and a joy that is leading me home to my true nature. So here we meet in the heart of the Mother. The Divine Mother, it is known as the heart of the Mother of empathy, compassion, grace, forgiveness, self-compassion, worthiness, encouragement. The heart of the Mother. Our umbilical cord, our imaginary cord, is connected to this divinity at all times. Wherever we turn, wherever we go, we are divinely connected. There is a cord we cannot see, but we are divinely guided and inspired in every moment. We are fearless. We are calm. We accept this truth today in our being as we enjoy the reflections, the many stories that live inside of us of our own mothers, of our upbringing. We don't name it good or bad. We realize how strong we have become. We are who we are because we have survived the story, and we live now in love. So I release this prayer, just allowing each one of us to be open to this day, to the beautiful, joyful day, to the fearlessness that dwells within each one of us as we take each step and we do our work of letting go, like the Buddha reminded us, let go and be. Thank you, God, for mothers, for love, for truth. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. And now, Adrian, they will have another beautiful song for you to sit back and enjoy. Everything they do is to open your heart.
I nearly choked to death while I was playing that.
I'd like to invite the ushers up. That was beautiful, thank you. I won't name names, but no. So in preparation for the offering, as I prepare to give my offering, my heart is filled with love and appreciation, since what is offered here is for my spiritual well-being. I am filled with gratitude, knowing life stays in balance, for as I give, I receive.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So in giving thanks for these donations and the offering, I know on behalf of the center, we take this with great appreciation. And we watch over these funds, these gifts, including the gift of your time. And for you to know that it is used with the utmost integrity. And this flows back out into the community and to each and every one of us. And I also give great thanks for everyone in service today, for Adrian and Judy for their sweet voices and their heart as they prepared these loving songs today. And so I know for everyone here, there's great appreciation for this community, the parking lot sale, for the manifestation of an abundance that is ever growing. So I release these words with great thanks, and together we say, and so it is. So I think we have a closing song, and then we'll go off and have a wonderful day after the closing song, and check out the social hall. I mean, Judy and Bill would just love to see you. Thank you.
This song is called Guardian Angels, and the music was written by Harpo Marx. That guy, Harpo. Guardian angels surround my bed, joining me in my prayers. They hush the shadows when they dance about. They
was like a lullaby. I'm going to take a nap. Thank you, thank you. So some of the food that you're going to enjoy today were some homemade enchiladas by Judy Carmi Smith. She provided food for the people in service yesterday, and it was just a delightful spread of food. So there's that and some other goodies in there. So enjoy conversations, enjoy getting to know each other, meet somebody new, and say hello, and listen to each other's stories. So thank you today for being here and for remembering the heart of the mother. Hopefully you received your little heart crystal token to honor your mother. So with love, go and enjoy. Thank you.